MakingStarWars.com. Hello, everybody. My name is Jason Ward, and this is Force Ghost Rob. How's it going? I know that's Dave Filoni's wonderful acting. Doesn't sound anything like you.
Yeah,
he doesn't know
Study
why
classical music.
Why you keep roasting him when he doesn't.
He was
sound
sitting
like
in the stands, listening to that classical music as a kid, going wah, 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 and his dad's like, "You stop doing that. What are you gonna do with it?"
What does Filonius D's chopper sound like?
It's like wow, wow,
wow, wow. Yeah, that sounds right.
Wow, wow. Hey, by the way, Felonius, he sent Quentin his message so Quentin can stop harassing me. All right. 20 texts from that guy.
Oh,
Where's my message? Where's my message?
Where's my message?
Send it to Jason. It's on Jason's head.
I got it now. I got it.
Yeah.
I still haven't got to hear it though. I was like in a course when you sent that, and I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, it'll demonetize the entire channel. If
oh,
you play
okay.
It. So don't do
sounds
it.
like we should play it right now. Oh, look, Junior Jangles, too legit to quit. Hey. That's the official lyric. But anyways, yeah. So how's it been going, Rob? I haven't talked to you in a little bit. I haven't seen you around these parts.
Oh, yeah, I'm fine. I'm good.
You're fine? Good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, it's been the most quiet Star Wars time of all time since probably 2013. The last couple of weeks, like everybody's starting to go back to work, kinda starting to get like back into a place where interesting things will happen. But as always, I put a tweet out. I was like, yeah, that stuff you're hearing isn't true, because really nothing has happened. You know what I mean when you get down to it.
What, the Star Wars title?
There were titles. There was.
I heard that one on I think, was it Harlem? I don't know. Some guy sent me a clip, and
yeah,
it was like the whole title of the show was the title, and then like he got through it in like 2 minutes, and then
yeah,
I was like, what kind of show is this? Like you got to track it out, man.
It was a bad title too. It was like The Hand of the New Republic, something like that. It was just like, it sounded like an expanded universe novel from 1995.
Well, he said Star Wars Meg broke one called The New Beginning.
Oh, actually, I was talking I was on Meg's Discord.
What wasn't the beginning though? The original title for the Phantom Menace, or the working title, because Rose writes it down that yellow pad, right? He writes it on camera.
Here was the thing: is it was the beginning, and then the rumor was it was Balance of the Force, but then that never was backed up by anything. But what was interesting about the Balance of the Force thing is the script literally goes into balance, and it always made me wonder if it was like floated.
Can we split the diff?
Mm-hmm.
Can we split the diff and call this next one New Balance?
Oh yeah, well that's George Lucas today. He's a geriatric. He's an octogenarian. Is that the word? Octogenarian? Is that how you say it?
He likes 8 of them at a time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Likes a little
group
chat.
But anyways, in Meg's Discord, she was bringing up this title for Revenge of the Sith, and it was like on the official site. But something was doing like a quiz, like, did you know, one of those dumb things. And it's like, well, so how it actually went down was there was a band. I don't remember the band's name, but they had an EP called The Creeping Fear. And in 2005 or whatever it was, 2004, 2005 at the time, they released that was the title, so that way people would Google, or whatever the equivalent was then, like an Ask Jeeves, I don't remember, Alta Vista it, and get would find the band and then listen to it. That was like, the idea. And so the Creeping Fear was never a real title, and it was a joke referencing a fake spoiler at the time, probably Pablo Hidalgo making the joke realistically. And so like, but The Creeping Fear, just to be clear, was never like a real title. The beginning obviously was just a working title. George Lucas's working titles, like for episode 2, was Jar Jar's Big Adventure, obviously just a joke.
It wasn't a Shadow Falls?
No, it was not the Shadow Falls. Sorry, dude. Shadow Falls. Yeah, I heard that shit so much. And then I remember when Revenge of the Sith was going to be the title, I was like, no, because it was the fake title. It's not. And George Lucas is just like, oh, the fake title. I'll just take the fake title.
What if they just go real trendy and they call it Ray X Skywalker?
Hey.
Because everyone likes to put that X and shit now, right? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Ray X Skywalker. I'm saying it out here. Officially, that's the title for the new movie.
Okay, hear me out.
Go tell Harloff. Go tell Force Ghost Rob says so.
Okay, Ray goes evil. Then they make Ray Palpatine. Then she comes back. Then they make Ray Skywalker. Yeah, that's how you do it. Is that how it works?
This feels like it's one of those problems that has like parentheses, and you got to do the stuff in the parentheses before the what is it? Parentheses division X plus minus, right? Remember that? It's like an order.
I think you're talking about like order of operations. And that shit's for nerds. So
vaguely remember this. Remember this order of operations.
You sound stupid right now.
We'll reboot the show. We'll start over. Turn it off, turn it back on.
Well, I talked to Tom. Tom is going to let us use a laptop for the show, so we'll be able to do the show. Today it took 45 minutes of me resetting the computer until it
Mysterious
finally worked.
Tom.
Mysterious Tom. He's not mysterious. He's been on the show.
Mysterious Tom was going to be in Buckaroo Banzai Against the World Crime League. He was the new character. It was Mysterious Tom. By the way, before we start this, I have friends complaining that they don't understand Loki, right? My age, right? I get younger people. But I'm like,
my dad had the
Did you ever watch Buckaroo Banzai? Like, I'm just curious. Like, because Loki ain't got shit on that fucking movie.
Yeah, but
this is understandable.
But Rob, nobody saw Buckaroo Banzai but you and I. So
Kevin Smith.
He's everywhere. Yeah. So there was this couple of just lines that are being extrapolated into news because there is no real news right now. So is it a slow news day? That would mean that there was any momentum behind the news. No, there's no news. But I want the chat to tell me, number one, okay, do you guys know who Shawn Levy is? Hit 1 if you know who Shawn Levy is. Hit 2 if you don't. You can't tell them. Now they know. But anyways, Tom, thank you, Tom. Yeah, Tom. Tom is too nice to the show. Tom saved the show, everybody. Give Tom a hand. He's a Stranger Thing. That's what you're saying. Why do you call him a Stranger Thing? A Stranger Teen?
Why does he have 2 first names?
Big guy.
Thomas Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford is Mysterious Tom. I figured it out.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, anyways, I don't know who. I don't really know who Shawn Levy is. So, like, I can't be like, well, see, Rob, you must understand here is the subtleties of a Shawn Levy picture.
You put the Shawnee to the levy, right?
But the levy was dry. There was no Star Wars to be had.
He's not a moist levy. He's a dry levy.
He's a dry levy.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Shawn Levy in a Chevy writing a Star Wars movie is what we need. So anyways, there's this quote from him in a Variety interview that he did. Okay. And of course, like it's being pulled in all these different ways. I honestly think for the most part, this isn't anything. However, I do think that they're going to be making Star Wars movies for better or worse. My actual belief is, number one, none of the schedule as it exists will actually happen. I hope it does, but I don't believe it will. But my secondary belief is that they are being told to make Star Wars movies. Star Wars movies are going to be made if they're you know,
make them now.
Well, if they're AAA Star Wars or if they're not. That's the way I would put it. I mean, I don't know how else to put it except for like in gaming terms in this instance.
They get their order of operations wrong and they break movie instead of glass. Right? Like in case of glass.
Making Star Wars to you, brought to you by Tom's Computer. Yeah, I think that's fair. Honestly, Tom, I think you've earned it. I think you have earned it.
That's our sponsor.
But also, Tom, when the show fucks up, dude, we're going after you. We're like, oh, Tom,
Yeah.
you're this fucking piece of shit. Oh, what the fuck, Tom? And honestly,
Look,
it's probably just going to be StreamYard, but you're taking the blame, buddy.
Tom, you haven't made it until Star Wars fans universally hate you. Just so you know.
You're not Star Wars famous until everybody hates you.
Yes.
Anyways, so there was this interview in Variety, and Shawn Levy talks about his Star Wars film a couple of times. And the interviewer at Variety, if you're listening to us as a podcast, says, in an interview conducted last year, Mark Ruffalo said, you always get the same version of Star Wars each time. Bitch, I get the same version of Hulk each time. Shut the fuck up. Now that you're working on one, how will things go differently? And he says, when Kathleen Kennedy brought me on board to make a Star Wars movie, her central mandate to me was, I want a Shawn Levy movie. I want a story and a tone that reflects you and your taste and what you bring to your movies with a Star Wars story. So I have felt extremely empowered. We are in early days, unfortunately, because the development process was abruptly paused due to the WGA strike, but I feel very empowered to trust my instincts and in the development of this story and movie. That was his first error at the end there. No. You have to trust your instincts and then figure out, how do your instincts fuck with Kathleen Kennedy's? That's the
I went
actual
and watched
difference.
every Star Wars movie and TV show to see how everyone else did it, and now I know what I can do. That's what real pros do, right?
Well, okay, no, but like here's the thing is like I've seen the Deadpool movies. I'm not a huge fan. I don't dislike Deadpool. It's not that I dislike it. I just watch
different
it.
Director
and
on each one though. It's not
okay,
the same.
which one is he
It's not
on?
the same. No, he's on the third one. He hasn't done any of them.
Oh, he hasn't done any of the first two that are already out.
No, the first one was Tim Miller.
Okay.
And they wrote that script for 6 years, was why the jokes are so good. The second one was the John Wick guy.
I'm so glad right now I didn't pretend like I knew what I was talking about, because that was a good one. Today was a good day to not pretend that I know shit about Shawn Levy. But I have seen his Stranger Things episode.
Jason.
Oh yeah? What's up? What's going on? What happened, Rob?
We haven't had a bot in a while, dude.
Oh, dude, we got a battle droid?
Yeah,
we chat?
we have Ryder.
I know.
Larry, we're bothering you. I want to offer promotion for your channel, viewers, followers, viewers, chat bots, etc. The price is lower than any competitor. You know we need to add? We need to add to the battle droids farts, robotic farts.
I prefer when the bots like you want to see people fucking XXXXX. Like,
go
I like
to
it when
Streamrise. Our Streamrise. Oh, it's a Russian bot, dude. Oh, yeah, this is so good.
I have a song. I have a song called Russian Bot. It's true. I do. It was funny to me when I wrote it.
I want to touch her nuclear vessels.
So, what movies has Shawn Levy made then? I guess is the question. Let's because I've seen Stranger Things
movies.
I've seen I've seen his Stranger Things episode, and it's like one of the best Stranger Things episodes. But as we know, like, somebody doing an episode of a TV show is like it doesn't really mean that the movie's going to be. So he did Free Guy, which I don't remember. Night at the Museum.
Well, Free Guy has the lightsaber bit. So here's my problem with the humor in Free Guy is they do something that's cool, and then they have to fucking verbally say what the joke is, so you all got it.
So
it's a lightsaber, and then another person goes, "He's got a lightsaber? Where do you get a lightsaber?" It's like, no, you don't ever need to say someone's got a lightsaber when they have a lightsaber, because they got a lightsaber.
Never funny. The one thing I've learned is if you have to explain the joke, you've really fucked it up. Okay.
Or you're trying to annoy the shit out of your wife and get out of hanging out with her on a Friday night.
Or just want to get divorced. Yeah, that's a way of doing it.
It's a good move.
Okay, so let's start with the good stuff. Big Fat Liar.
Never saw it. but I do feel a kinship to that.
It's got Frankie Muniz in it, Real Still.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, was that the first person? Like, I played a video game, so I made a movie.
Good theme song. That's a solid film. You could take that to It's a good, yeah, man. Look, I wish Real Steel was, a movie we got the closest we got to is like we had RoboCop. That really wasn't for kids. I watched it, but you
Okay.
know, that's a solid film. People can say what they want, but that would fit in with any 80s, best of the 80s, 90s kind of fun adventure films. That's a good one. Way better than fucking Pacific Rim, like by far.
God, they
Still
IMDb
Iron
is
Guy.
fucking awful. Like it used to be like my favorite website, and it's just so bad now. Like everything.
Well, they got bought out, right?
I just like I try to get on. I'm just like everything hurts. I
Didn't
feel
Amazon
like
buy
everything...
them?
So wait, did he do 34
Someone
episodes of Stranger Things?
No. He's executive. He's a producer on
Producer.
it,
Oh,
and
producer.
then he's
Producer.
directed.
I'm on the
Yeah.
producer tab.
So
yeah, like I
it's
said,
hard to say. That's a collaboration. Okay. Like obviously he's great with the Duffer Brothers, right? Like,
all right. So Stranger Things, he did 8 episodes. So that's pretty. That's good though. I mean, that's a Star Wars season. That's a Star Wars season of Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Drives Rob crazy. Maybe. Oops. I went back to the producer.
I do love that Stranger Things.
God, Tom, I could read this if my computer worked. It's not even Tom's fault yet. So the Adam Project, he did an episode of the Adam Project.
Yeah,
Unbreakable.
Netflix.
See, like I liked Kimmy Schmidt when it came out, but that's like a hard one. It's like this is like a lot of Night at the Museum. I mean, that's not for me, so I would have to like watch it and then just like look at it as a craft, and I don't want to. I'll let you guys do that. Paper Dentist, Beyonce, A Woman Like Me. See, now if he did Above and Beyonce, maybe we'd have a Star Wars movie already out, but he didn't. So he did some Birds of Prey. So this is like all like really old. So I mean, right now though, I am looking at a guy who's like directed to eat. This is a guy who worked, who's like, on one hand, I kind of like am interested in to see how this goes, because this guy, I mean, look at his work. I mean, this is like I said, this is a guy who didn't just like go like, oh, my uncle knows Steven Spielberg. Now I'm making Force Awakens. You know what I mean? It's not, he doesn't have that kind of career. So I'm kind of rooting for him in a Director Krennic kind of way. I don't know if he's working class, but usually these kind of directors seem to come from more working class backgrounds, or they are completely nepotistic in nature and we're just falling into all of these gigs. But
he's just got overall, man, he's got like that corny fucking kind of humor you and I aren't into. You know, really? Like better than Robert Rodriguez, right?
Okay.
But not as good as what is it? Have there been good comedies? I mean, he's not as good as an Adam McKay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so better than a Peyton Reed, not as good as an Adam McKay.
Yeah.
So, you know, somewhere in there.
We have like a lot of like, you know, an average of like 6, a lot of 6s, and this is his producer stuff though that I'm back onto. As a director, Boy Band, All the Light We Cannot See, Deadpool 3, Stranger Things 2 episodes, Starman. Is that like the David Bowie one, or like the movie from the 80s? They're remaking Starman with, was it Jeff Bridges that was in that?
Jeff Bridges and Marion.
Yeah, and Marion. That's right.
Come on, man. What are you doing?
Come on now. All right.
Now we know what Marion was doing around Last Crusade. She was fucking Jeff Bridges Starman.
He's the dude. Just fucking the dude. Put it in context.
Hey man, you know
the dude when he was young.
Go watch
young buck.
Go watch that King Kong, and have we ever looked that good, Jason? No, we've never.
Not me. I mean, no. All right. So wait, hold on. Let me share this tab in. Yeah. So then there's other little Star Wars tidbit. Could Deadpool 3 be good practice for Star Wars? And he says, I actually have to read it on the screen of the show because I can't see it on my camera right now. The experience that I'm currently having with the Marvel with Marvel on Deadpool is showing me firsthand that it is indeed really possible to feel empowered and personable about making a movie within a universe that is bigger than any one film. My Deadpool movie is turning out to be exactly what Ryan Reynolds and I had hoped when we started off. So I'm going into the development of my Star Wars movie with a similar optimism. You're adorable fool. You're adorable fool. And he
should really go go to Cheesecake Factory at Lord and Miller. You know what I mean? Like,
you know what?
I'm
gonna recommend that they get the orange chicken and share it with a separate. Orange chicken's really good, but you don't just want that. So just saying, you have a better talk.
Well,
But
then you
yeah,
get cheesecake, orange chicken and cheesecake.
No, I like I said though, and I'm joking. In reality, I do actually expect that these movies are going to be made. I'm fearful that we're going to go into the first phase of. I'm optimistic, but the first phase of, well, here's just a Hollywood movie and it's Star Wars. Here's like we're not that they're giving up, just that they're not going to do what they did before. I don't think we're going to see. Oh, we have to go spend another $150 million to reshoot, 40% of this film. Don't think those days are here. So I think the movies would have to be right at the start, and they never are, and they never will be, and they're never going to be easy to make, so it's never going to happen that way. So I'm definitely interested in how this next phase goes, but I think this next phase is going to be, I don't know. I don't have like super high hopes at the moment. I hate to be like pessimistic, but this is, and the Shawn Levy kind of thing, don't really know a lot about the guy, so I don't know what to expect. I'm going to guess Levy has been maybe instrumental in other projects that he's not heralded as the savior of, but maybe was. There has to be something that's made him like, I want a Shawn Levy Star Wars movie, and it's a good idea. Like, what's the aim?
Yeah, but when you were a kid, did you really know you wanted an Ivan Kershner Star Wars movie?
Did. Yes, I did. And his name is Irvin. Ivan is a Russian spy.
I'm trying to appease our Russian bot, Jason. Come on, what are you doing?
See, I think you're calling him actually. No. Yeah, no, you didn't. But at the same time, I didn't know that I didn't want a Richard Marquand either. So what did I know back then? I
didn't want a Richard Marquand. I can still do without it.
But yeah. I mean, when you look at the last decade of Star Wars, we were actually spoiled. Like, when something didn't appear to be going wrong, they fucking put the kibosh on it. Like, they'd fire people. They would bring in a new director, stuff like that. Like, they would do it. I don't think we're going to be afforded that because two reasons, maybe. Well, the first reason, obviously, is just Disney's current, state. People are acting like the sky's falling at Disney. And I kind of disagree with that assessment. It's just that it was raining fucking money a few years ago, and now it's not in that same. They're in a more realistic, we have to try way, 10 years ago,
how easy it is to fix fucking the Marvel movies. Real simple. Just make them. Just make the next 4 feel like Winter Soldier. There, done. Problem solved.
Maybe.
Problem solved. Put in some good fight sequences.
Yes. You're right
actual
about that.
Good fight sequences. Make it feel like Winter Soldier. Slow down on the fucking multiverse stuff. Have a little bit here and there so they can get to their fucking Avengers movie, and then they'll be done. You'll hear Jason. You'll hear the turnaround from fans go, oh, they're back. Oh, the wave of fucking dick sucking that will go on. Oh, it'll look like that. It'll be as big as that wave in the Abyss Special Edition. They'll just be deep throating that fucking Marvel. It's just so easy to fix. They're all they got to do is just don't do what they're doing now. Just do what they did before. Problem solved. So no. Now, the problem with DC is they've never had a colossal win at the box office. The Batman is the best thing, the closest thing they've had since the Dark Knight, right? To a colossal win or the Dark Knight Rises.
Well, when it comes to
they need more funny voices.
Well, realistically, when it comes to the Marvel thing, the problem is that I don't give a fuck about Ant-Man. Ant-Man is like a C tier superhero that you're trying to pretend and make an A tier and an S tier.
Well, they've also dragged shit out too long. If you count the time between Iron Man 1 and Avengers 1, we should have hit that Avengers team up. Whatever new group of characters they were putting out there should have all teamed up by 2 movies ago.
Right.
You see what I mean? That's the problem. they're just like out there just doing rando shit, and everyone's like, I don't know. They got everyone fixed on a formula, and then they're like, oh, we're not going to do the formula. We're going to do all this other stuff, and then eventually we'll put it together. That ain't working. That's like DC tried this reboot like 10 years ago called the New 52. We're like, we're going to stop all the storylines you like and put out 52 new storylines and books, and only one of them really took off, and everyone else hated everything. Like it didn't.
Well, like I don't know if this is like the best analogy, but when you and this goes, and I'm talking about Star Wars and I'm talking about Marvel in this instance. Well, really quickly on Marvel, we do need to go back to Mark Ruffalo's little thing. We just need like Hulk movies, like Iron Man, and
an actual like aggressive,
actual, but I don't care about these. Like I said, fucking the Atom. You know what I mean? I don't care about like some fucking random and what's his name made Guardians of the Galaxy. The Guardians of the Galaxy couldn't get arrested. He made that shit A tier. He did it. That's great. It happened. And Iron Man was like a C tier fucking character too. He shouldn't have been, but he was. And then they put him up to S tier. Fucking jumped him right up. He's like one of the biggest heroes in the world now.
Let's try to chalk that one up to luck, really.
Yeah. Fine, fair enough, but I mean, but it definitely happened, Yeah. But anyways, but the thing is that like when you look at yourself and you go like, oh, you know what, I need to make some changes about me, right? Whether it's like whether it's like diet or personality and attitude or whatever, but you don't go and then just have a completely new personality tomorrow. You don't just go and go like, oh, I'm gonna make some changes and like now all of a sudden like every single thing that you like, you don't eat at all ever again. It's like you got to kind of like do a little bit of the new thing while keeping the old stuff that you liked. You know what I mean? That worked. You can't just fucking all of a sudden become like this whole different thing and then everybody's going to be like, yay. That's not what's going to happen. So that's why with Star Wars movies, do I believe that there should always be a Galactic Civil War movie somewhere on the horizon? Yeah. Is it personally what I want? Not really. I want stuff that I haven't seen before and them to try new things. Like, I'm cool with that. But I understand that you also need to have like your movie set during the Galactic Civil War at the same time. You do need that, like, oh, here's a stormtrooper in the classic costume. Like, you still need that to show up every now and then. So like if I think the winning formula would be like 1/3 is what I call conservative Star Wars in the philosophical sense, back to what you knew, what you expect. And then after that, that's when you try something. That's when you do something different like this one. I think this is going to be a different tone, and that's fine. Because at the end of all of this, like if I just have this huge shelf full of all these Star Wars movies, and I got like the 6 I know I love no matter what, and then the stuff that Disney does that's like doing their best, if they're doing their best when they are, then it's like, cool, this is like all bonus stuff. And like, for instance, Andor is the show whose dick I always suck. And Andor, I never really saw that one coming. Never really expected it, except for when I was sucking its dick, I saw it coming then. But other than that, I didn't ever know I wanted or needed an Andor show. And I like Andor better than the movie that spawned it. And here we are now, and it's like, okay, cool. I'm glad that exists, and I don't care how successful it was or wasn't, because I'm always going to be able to enjoy it. That's all I care about is myself. I'm a selfish Star Wars fan.
Again, viewer numbers shouldn't matter on streaming. It should matter is this a compelling reason to subscribe?
Yeah.
And then they should spend their money like appropriately and not bankroll greenlight 600 cheap ass series to go there. And it'll get everyone in if we put one of everything up. The Netflix model of blasting your. By the way, I canceled my Netflix. So
yeah, me too.
When they deleted all the animation.
Sorry, Shawn Levy.
Yeah. Fuck your Netflix. So, they take away the animation. They canceled Bone and a bunch of other fucking shit. I'm like, I'm out of here, dude. Like I'll probably sign back up when Kevin Smith's Masters of the Universe season 2 comes out. Because I like that series, and then I'll unsubscribe right afterward. I'm only gonna they'll get my metric on that one.
Yeah,
but look, man, I think with the movies, we're all looking at like a director to save us in Star Wars, and I'm gonna be honest, man. they really should just hit up whoever put together them Fallen Order games, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and just be like, what would you do as a film, you know, or a series? Because they seem to
Yeah.
understand, you know, the idea of where to place a story and a protagonist people seem to like, and the right balance between humor and blah 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 blah. And you could say they had 40 hours to do it, but people are all engaged within the first hour.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it's not like it's not like you got to play the game for 20 hours and then it gets good. You know,
Yeah.
they get you right away, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
like on all those games. So I just haven't seen any of these directors pull that one off yet, and the game folks seem to have it down. So I don't know, man. Yeah.
Yeah. I would like. I am a fan of when like I said, we've talked about how the auteur theory itself is like a problem, about how it's mythical and it's not real and it's a lie, and then a lot of choices are made on this idea that there is this like one dude who can save it all. Like that's just
Yeah, if
bullshit.
Paul
It's
Hirsch
not
wasn't editing
how.
on Star Wars, it
Yeah.
would be a different film. You
Yeah.
know, not saying it would be a bad film or a better film. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
saying it would be a different film. Lucas
Mm-hmm.
didn't, you know, how do I say this, folks? You know, people goes, Rob likes James Cameron. Rob likes James Cameron painted all the fucking mats on Escape from New York.
Yeah.
You know, George
Well.
Lucas ain't painting the mats on Star Wars. You know, like that's not the kind
Yeah.
of dude he is. So, like an auteur doesn't do everything. May have a vision, but even then,
Mm-hmm.
look at there was a vision for Ghostbusters. Go read the original script. That you don't want that movie. You know what I mean? Like,
I
no one
kind of
wants the
do.
original
I
Ghostbusters. You
kind of
know,
do.
Jason, you just
I
want to
kind
burn
of
everything
do.
down.
No, I kind of want to see it,
I
but
guess
yeah.
given the last two efforts, why the fuck not?
No,
But
no,
you know,
the last Ghostbusters movie saved Ghostbusters, man. And kids like that last Ghostbusters movie. There's
that was
pretty
the
much
one time I felt it
I
should have been
love
a series, though.
I
You
love
know what I mean?
Ghostbusters. I love Ghostbusters too. I know that you don't, but I would say Ghostbusters 1
Yeah.
and Afterlife. I know Ghostbusters Afterlife wasn't like a box office phenomenon or anything like that. So I'm not saying it was like the hugest movie, but yeah, I
Hey,
didn't
look, it's a
push
fun
it.
movie.
No, but I mean like kids actually liked it. That was the
Yeah, I just think it should have been a
amazing
series.
thing.
There just wasn't enough of it. You know?
Well, yeah, I mean it
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we could critique that movie. I mean, like the third act of that movie it sucks.
Yeah, they wasted
It's
J.K. Simmons,
unfortunate.
right?
Yeah,
Just
it's just
wasted
it's
with a
unfortunate,
useless
but
Easter egg that doesn't, you know, go anywhere.
yeah,
But
yeah.
and I feel like there's a vague tie-in between
Mm-hmm.
that movie and Poltergeist 2's backstory. Like if you
Mm-hmm.
go watch Poltergeist 2, you know, at in the Evo Shandor and that one, there's a whole thing there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a tie-in there.
But I just want them to, like I said, do like yeah, here's what you expect from Star Wars. Here's what the people expect. Do that, like do that one every now and then. Do your little space opera that's just like, oh hey, I'm a space ranger man, you know, kind of thing. Do that. Good. And then try other things, and you know, because with Star Wars, like we don't want them to go back and reinvent Star Wars. Star Wars is fine. I don't need Star Wars like reinvented every single time. But what I do need are things that sit on the shelf next to things that already exist that offer something to me that the other ones don't necessarily. You know, like that's why Force Awakens is a good Star Wars movie, but am I ever going to watch The Force Awakens over A New Hope when I want that? Not really. It's always going to be a second tier film for me on that front. I'm only really going to watch it when I want to watch The Last Jedi, because I like to watch Force Awakens into Last Jedi because they fit so well together. And
They
then
can't make a good Terminator film. They can't make a good RoboCop film, but one studio's managed to make fun video games for both.
oh
You
yeah,
know?
and that's what I was going to say. Onto your point though, was remember back in the day, like when we were kids, the big thing was, and I think this applies to your point about the Fallen Order guys, is that they were like, well, how do we make movies for these kids in the 80s? How do we do it? Oh, let's get Russell. Is his name Russell McCauley? I don't know if it said Macaulay or Micaiah. I had this Queen video and they were saying Russell Micaiah, but I don't think that's correct. But it's Russell McCauley, the guy who did Highlander, was a music video director for like Duran Duran. And then they let the music video guy make a movie. Highlander sucks so much it's fucking awesome. Like, and that's the kind of thing where I think getting those weirdos who make like video game stuff today would probably be like, well, this isn't exactly like the way a movie's supposed to be made. This isn't exactly right, but this is like actually a hell of a lot more fun and engaging and lasting than anything else that they would have done otherwise. That's where I think they would fall. I think it would be just like that. Now, Highlander is the other one though, right? Highlander, there should be like 3 good Highlander movies, but there's not. There's only one. There's only that first movie. And it's kind of amazing that they managed to never really get it going.
Well, I think because games are so difficult to make, the idea of one person coming in and solving all the problems or making all the decisions is ridiculous. You know, like it's really a collaborative effort. And I just feel, given the complexity people want, and this is me guessing, but just, you know, having watched about, I don't know, billion hours of useless fucking YouTube, right, over the last 10 years,
That's it?
right?
You're slacking.
I'm assuming people want complex stories with fun universes. And the only one pulling that off are games.
Yeah.
Like, go look at Spider-Man 2 that's out on the PS5 right now. Marvel can't do that as a film right now. I mean, that whole game could be the first act of it. They're not pulling that one off, but the game people are. Yeah. And I also feel too is because the game people know their audience, and I just feel Hollywood producers as a whole, Hollywood studios don't know their audiences. They want to create their audiences is what I mean, we've heard this many times on the show before when he was like, hey, the Lucasfilm wanted to go, they wanted the Twilight people. They feel like we got these people in our pocket and we want these other people to grow it. And it's like, you know how you grow something? Word of mouth. They never had the Barbie people in their pocket. You know, there was no Barbie people in the pocket when they started that fucking movie. Where was all those girls when Toy Story 2 came out to go support the Barbie in Toy Story 2? You know, like, or Toy Story 3 even. Like,
don't go up against Big Barbie right now.
So it's like, but word of mouth, because it's so people loved it, they get people to go. So it's like, you know, I think you got to know that the core audience's expectations and then over deliver, and that develops, you know, it develops a fan base.
Yeah.
And those Fallen Order games, I mean, they're not doing anything new.
Jimmy Fallon Order?
Jimmy Fallon, the Fallen Order. They're not doing anything new in those games. Like, okay, we've seen this stuff. You've seen Inquisitors, you've seen Empire, you've seen the you know, the Star Killer, like, you know, chosen one guy protagonist who's kind of in the backdrop of the first, you know, between episode 3 and episode 4. We've seen all this, but they do know how to repackage it in a way where you don't feel like you're doing the same thing over and over again and you still care. And they're adding enough new to it, right, that you give a shit. And they're not saying, hey, we're not going for the Star Wars person. We already know we got their stupid asses because they're going to buy a fucking Star Wars game. We know we're going after that Rocket League people. You know, we want the Rocket League people. It's just like the Hollywood, their whole mentality has to shift in this way. And I'm not saying it doesn't mean cater to the fans, but they've taken a lot of shit for granted. Like, like you and I love Batman, right, Jason? As much as we love Star Wars,
love them.
I'd say. Right,
I'd say,
but just because you put Batman, some ain't gonna guarantee the box office, you know.
No, and also, yeah, and we've had such polar opposite takes on Batman over the years. It's like that's a hard one to like just please me or anybody at that point, you know, in a way.
I mean,
Mike gave a $10 super chat and says, "I missed you guys. Welcome back." Thanks, Mike. And looking very, very Luigi in this picture here, isn't he? Isn't Mike looking a little like bit like our plumber friend Luigi? But thank you for being a channel member. Yeah.
Video game stories are so good that now they're turning games into TV shows, and they're losing Star Wars actors to games turned into TV shows. We got the Mando completely bait and switched on us, Jason, because of a video game, you know.
Like Sabersmith says, it's kind of sad the game stories are better than the live action stories, except for Andor, of course. And that's where I think we got to be a little bit fair to it, though. Is like when I'm playing a Fallen Order video game or a Star Wars game, for instance, like Fallen Order, like they have like, you know, a good 40 hours to like really hook me. Rob's right that they do hook you early. but you just have all that time. Same thing with like a moderately good novel, like the ability to connect with it. Whereas like a movie, when if it's made well and it's fucking, I'm sorry, but I think good movies are like 2 hours long, and a 2 hour movie doesn't have as much time to have the emotional resonance and connection. So it has to be like it's a different animal. And like that's the like what I have on one hand, I would love if the Andor story had been a film. If Andor had been a film, I would love that film for sure. At the same time, would it ever be as good as the 12-part series? No, because it wouldn't have had that depth and the ability to add the subtleties in. We wouldn't have had Cyril eating cereal in a movie. You just wouldn't have like those kind of moments. And that's the same thing like where you'll see like somebody plays like a Final Fantasy video game, like a good one. Like you're never gonna have that kind of connection that you have when you play like that game, a good one, to a cartoon episode. Just like the amount of time that you have to spend and to like develop is such a different beast. But that's where we run into like this weird thing with Star Wars fans. Like we have expanded universe people saying that the sequel films are bad, that a book is better than a movie. But I'm sorry, that's apples and oranges to me. They're not the same thing. You know, they're just not. And same thing with the TV series. That's why, like, yeah, does the TV series look like a movie? No, it doesn't. Is it ever going to do what the movies do? Mostly not. So, like, I realize what I'm ordering, what's on the menu, and what's coming to the table. And then, and I do think it's completely fair, though. Like, the movie's going out to the theater. That's when you go out and you put your fancy cape and your monocle on. And Star Wars isn't taking us out because they haven't done a movie in so long. So the people getting like antsy and critical of that completely, they deserve it. That's fucking fair. But also, we do need to look at books, cartoons, comics, movies, all this stuff. It's just a different thing, and I think they should be evaluated and treated as such. But you know, the comics, for instance, Comic Binge says, "Miss you guys. I'll holla at you both soon." Yeah, dude, you're always welcome to come hang out, man. Old man Paul. But yeah, like the comics oftentimes piss me off, and so you know what? Like this current like little era, this current phase, it's not my thing. I'll check it out again, like in a year or whatever, and give it like a whirl, and get back into it. But I'm also not gonna make it my personality being mad at comics. Like that's a weird thing for people to do.
We tried reading the Bounty Hunter Wars here.
Yeah.
On the series, remember?
It made
and
us
I
mad.
quit.
It made us mad. It made us really mad. And it was,
what are you guys doing? Like,
yeah, I was like really open. I was like hoping like, you know, this is gonna like roll into the show and stuff like that, and we'll be able to remember that. No, not at all. It was, I mean, it had some fun moments. Like once again, I'm not saying, you know, but when you read like 40 comics, you know, it's gonna be a fun moment or two. You know what I mean? But when you read 40 comics and 29 of them were not worth your time, that's when you're like, oh, they're just taking my money, you know? They just want money from me. But, you know, and I understand that like not every series can have Thrawn coming back in the last episode, right?
I am interested in reading Mark Bernardin's writing a Mace Windu thing.
Mm-hmm.
So interested in that.
What?
Yeah, Mark Bernardin from Kevin
Who's
Smith.
Mark Bernardin? Oh, the guy, the Kevin Smith show guy?
Yeah.
The Batman guy? The guy who's on the Batman podcast? Okay.
Yeah.
He's just doing it like a fan thing, or is
no, for Marvel. No, he's actually
doing a comic.
Yeah, there's a Mace Windu. I don't know if it's a limited series or a full, but yeah. But
you just kind of like said Mark Bernardin, Mace Windu. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Okay.
He's writing a Mace Windu thing over at Marvel.
So that's probably a pretty good hint that we shouldn't expect anything from Mace Windu in live action.
Right.
You know,
exactly.
We came close to having a Windu in Ahsoka. It was on the table. Didn't happen though.
I didn't want to say it, Jason.
Yeah, no, he was. He was on the table for some flashback stuff. There was some drawings to say the least. Stephen Murphy says the MCU book did acknowledge Feige and Kennedy were pressured into announcing projects that were nowhere near ready during Disney Investor Day 2020. Right. That in that book, if you're a Marvel person, that book sounds like, oh man, I wish we had that for Star Wars. But it does sound like that's a book you should read if you're into it. And yeah, that's one of the things about being Kathleen Kennedy, I think, where I do feel bad for her is the way to put it, because I kind of don't give a shit, super rich and successful and run Star Wars and stuff like that. But they definitely
hangs out with Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, I mean, probably calls him Stevie.
Whoa, what a life!
Probably calls him Stevie, right? Stevie.
Yeah,
little Stevie.
Yeah, he calls him
All
Stevie.
Right, little Stevie. Let me produce your fucking movie for you, little Stevie.
Can boss JJ around.
Yeah,
right?
you know what, JJ? I knew you before you had fuzz on your peaches. Sit the fuck down. You're directing The Force Awakens. But no, yeah, they clearly like make it seem like it, or we tend to blame her for the company's pressure to announce and to like do things. At the same time, though, if she was prolific, I would have more sympathy. You know what I mean? Like if they were prolifically getting Star Wars content made, good stuff. I'm glad that, I think, according to the internet, it's not true, but it is. The bar of quality for Star Wars in the theatrical stuff, I would say, has been pretty high in terms of like the look and the feel. I'd say Solo, the one I'm wearing the shirt for today, probably is the one that dropped the ball the hardest, but that was because when they reshot it and had to rebuild sets and stuff like that, they didn't go in as hard as they did the first time. But overall, I think that like you can say like, oh, the films are at a very high quality level, even if you don't like them. Obviously people just go, I don't like something, therefore it's all bad. No, that's not the way it goes. You could look at the movies and objectively say these are high budget.
No, it all
sucks.
Films. Or it's all good.
Yeah, but you could look at it and go, this is an expensive film, like no doubt about it. And it looks and it feels expensive. They've done a good job on that front, I think. And will it stick? I don't know, because back to what you were kind of saying though about like on the Marvel thing, yeah, I need a Winter Soldier quality film from them. My kids don't though, but so they got to do a little bit of both of those things and kind of meet in the middle on it. But the one thing is just like visual effects, Disney Plus visual effects on film. I know that they got to kind of test the waters and see what the customers will accept. How cheap can you go? Do you have to push it so far? Do you have to pay so much money? Like, I understand like kind of trying things and that, but I mean, in the last year, the Marvel movies look like garbage.
No, I stand by it, man. The creator is fucking cool, and I get people out there giving out. Everyone's a fucking screenwriter now, and I'm like, if that movie had come out in the fucking 80s or 90s, you and I would be still talking about it,
Yeah.
Like, I just think we do live in an era now where everything needs to be a religious experience, or it's, or it's totally fucking sucks. Like, that's the internet, and I don't ascribe to that. Is the story as good as District 9? No. But if I wanted to fucking visually watch the creator District 9, I'm watching the creator every fucking time, dude. It's just like, so I'm like, so all right, so you just give that guy, bring in someone who can make you laugh, and then you got a Star Wars movie. It's as good as any of the fucking Star Wars movies people claim are great that really aren't, but whatever.
Make says Ahsoka's depiction of Thrawn is a middle finger to anyone who read Zahn. So no one, because nobody read those books.
Hey,
I'm kidding.
Hey,
but no, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I think in reality, Thrawn is an overrated character that has a lot of unearned love in those books. Those books aren't that. I don't think they're very good. I don't think he's a very compelling character. I think he's just a blue Imperial, and there's a lot of time spent telling you how amazing he is. but I don't think he actually is. And so that's why I don't the Star Wars Rebels depiction and the other. I mean, and to be honest with you, Meg, I'd say the Star
Jason,
Wars Rebels depiction is more offensive to anything than that, because it's like, oh no, they got away again. You know, it's
I don't
more of
like James
that.
Bond
But
films, and I don't really like a lot of those like CIA films where they're in a room watching shit go down while they bomb other countries. But I do love them both.
wait, I can't hear you. Can you guys hear Rob? I can't hear Rob now. Is it me or is it Rob? If it's Rob, hit 1. If it's Jason who just can't hear Rob, hit 2 in the chat, because I don't know what's going on. Is my computer finally dying?
Foreign movies.
Okay, I can hear you now. I just heard you say something at the very end. Nobody could hear you that whole time. You there, Rob? All right, it's Rob. All right, so Meg says, Meg gave me $10. She said, boom, it slapped me across the face with 10 pounds and said, Jason, I have no proof. But do you know if something changed in production for Mando season 3? Season 2 showed clones, which to me are clearly not Gideon clones. Were they going to do the Snoke route originally? So in my opinion, based off of what was happening there, was they were just playing the, yeah, we can do it. We can do that. But it doesn't, it's like do you want to make out? Well, no, I mean, unless you want to. It's one of those. It's one of those. It's a pivot. That's all that it ever was. That's why they played that. That's why they played it with ambiguity. It's simply a pivot, and I'm not a fan of that. I don't appreciate that level of ambiguity in all of the projects. Like, yeah, you want a big mystery. You want people talking. What does this mean? But you also want it to be earned. Like, my go-to is Battlestar Galactica. In the opening of the Battlestar Galactica show, it's like, the Cylons are back. And they have a plan. They have a plan. So you start watching the show, like, what's the fucking plan? And then you get through and you watch the whole thing, and there is no plan. There was never a plan. They make Razor to, like, I think it was called Razor. And that's what they tell you, like, what the plan was. And you're like, that was a plan? Clearly wasn't the plan. They just didn't have one. And so when it comes down to the Snoke Gideon thing, I can see early on where they're like, oh yeah, realistically, how many seasons of a television show do you have? 5 is about where a show really kind of exists and is quality. You can go 10. I'm not saying there's not 10, but that's just because the consumer base didn't die and they didn't stop making it, right? Well, with Mando, yeah, you would have to have gone on and had to have gone, okay, now here's why the First Order exists. Here's how that started to happen. And you could see that they did the groundwork for it. But then I think what you have in production is Filoni gets his movie. And then that's where I think the plans elevate. The plans get what's going to happen becomes bigger, more important. So I think while we were probably going to have the First Order just sort of kind of the cards thrown on the table in that show via various storylines and events, my guess would be now we're going to have this Thrawn war happen, and in the ashes of that rises the First Order. I think that's what changed. I don't have any evidence to back that up, but that just seems to be how it looks like the puzzle pieces moved from out here right now, if that makes sense. And but once again, I don't think storytelling is very compelling when it just relies on, oh, we're not telling you everything. Maybe you'll catch on. It's like, was that really, like, if it turns out Gideon's alive and those were just Gideon clones, it's going to be so fucking lame. It's going to be so lame. And it's probably what's going to happen. And at the same time, they might be kind of pulling a little bit of a Mando with the bad guy, in the sense that if he's all burned up and he's alive and he wears the suit now, that's why he stays in the suit. They kind of do a Darth Vader thing. He's so grotesque, he keeps the suit on. Then you don't need Giancarlo Esposito to show up and be in, you know, every episode. You can just have his voice, but also have him do action and stuff. So I kind of see it going that way in the end, but I don't even know if he's really dead. I mean, I'd be fine with him being dead, considering how that last season went overall. Considering they don't really know how to use the actor, they don't really know how to write super compelling villains in that way. I like Mando, but the writing is pretty much at that Highlander level. And that's cool. That's fun. I'm all about it to a large degree. But that's where I'm like, oh man, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau writing Thrawn. Now, if Tony Gilroy was writing Thrawn, it would be fascinating. It would. And that's where that kind of character belongs. But you're never going to give Thrawn to a Tony Gilroy, because the people who want Thrawn are people that are at the Beastmaster Highlander level of television. Does that make sense? I hope I haven't lost you guys with the old grandpa references to 80s movies, but that's kind of where I think that's just how it falls. But also, like, I'm sorry, Meg, but Thrawn is just overrated in the books too. There's a lot of telling. Just kind of is. And you know, I don't really like I've never liked how Thrawn looked. When I actually remember buying Heir to the Empire. I think I was like 9. It was like the first like grown-up book I ever bought, and I'm reading it and I'm like, he's blue, and in my head I'm like, no, he's not blue. He like looks like he's been suffocated, like he didn't get enough oxygen, like that's. And no, he's blue. He's just straight up blue. And like at the time, what I loved about Star Wars was that the characters weren't named like Zarzlax from Zaxxon 9. Like it didn't pull space tropes. It pulled like story tropes, but it didn't pull like everything was like the lived in look, which we see everywhere now. But you couldn't find it anywhere, and it was a little bit more magical. And but I didn't like that idea of, oh, my answer is a blue guy, you know. So if I had been on the internet back then, I would have been raging about it then too. Can you speak, Rob? Can we hear you?
I see, Jason. I said reboot the show, and the show has decided to just reboot me.
Yeah,
like, he's booting me off. Like,
it's a whole new Rob.
Yeah.
Whole new
yeah,
Rob.
I love Star Wars now. It's the greatest. I love the Vespas. I go full Vespa.
Yeah.
Shawn Levy's Vespas. That's what I want.
But that, and you know, and that goes into what kind of my point earlier though. If you're gonna make unlimited Star Wars forever, Vespas are gonna happen. Whether they should or you could say they shouldn't. But if you make, just it's a math game at that point, right? You go and you make 100 episodes of something, you're going to have, a shit episode. You're going to have a bad call. You're going to try something that you shouldn't have, or that didn't work.
You're going to kill some kids and then have a love story right on top of that.
We're talking about the Twilight Zone movie? Or something else?
Yeah, you're gonna behead an actor, and then you're gonna make cartoon rabbit story,
and then you're gonna unleash your kid on the world. But
touche.
Yeah. But I mean, the amazing thing though is for everybody is if you disagree with me, and you think Thrawn is compelling in the novels and just so well done, and you can't get that anywhere, you got those books. But things usually don't jump mediums well. Like for the most part, like if you try to take something out of the medium from which it was created and put it somewhere else, it usually doesn't translate. Like, I don't know. Like, remember when they like I liked those Alien. Remember when they started putting aliens in Dark Horse comics? Like, I liked that they were doing it. I bought them all. They weren't that good though. It should have worked. It should work, but it never really did. Not in the biggest way, you know.
I like the Sam Keith one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm not saying that there's that
no,
it's all
no
garbage,
aliens
but
has gotten to aliens. Like no alien stories since James Cameron's 1986 masterpiece has ever gotten there. Ridley Scott hasn't been able to do it twice.
Well, Prometheus is really good. It just shouldn't have been an alien movie. You know, that's all.
Right. It's not an alien. It's not, and it's not aliens.
It's a good science fiction movie, though. But
he tried even putting space truckers in the second one he did. Covenant, that didn't work. Yeah.
And I love Danny McBride. He's like, I want Danny McBride to play me in the Making Star Wars movie. But it was terrible. It was terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, things just don't jump mediums well, generally speaking. And we have the times that it does happen, and we love, you know, Batman, some Star Wars stuff. But that's why I'm like, Dr. Aphra. I saw the action figure at GameStop, and I wanted to buy it. I was like, this looks actually looks really good. But you know, the box, you couldn't see the toy. And I was just like, what the fuck are you guys doing to that shit behind me? You know, I'm not really, but I just like, I'm not buying this. Oh, also, they made Return of the Jedi Luke like in the big size, and I was like, ooh, I need that. But he didn't have the cape. I was like, fuck you, get out of here. You guys always do everything wrong. Yeah, you know, the soft goods cape. That's like the whole cool thing about the figure.
The whole point.
Yeah. I mean, you know what I mean? So anyways, yeah, I was like, fuck that shit. I didn't buy that shit either. But
I'm telling you, people make these decisions and they never, I'm not saying you have to, I gotta be careful about this because people are like, well, you gotta be a fan to make something. I think you need to understand the enjoyment of whatever it is you're working on, even if you don't get any enjoyment out of it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've worked on things and I'm like, I didn't care two shits about Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends when I worked on that shit. Mm-hmm. But I made a shirt that was so good. The fucking creator was like, how come I made this shirt that was so good? Cartoon Network rejected it. So I put it on DeviantArt, and then the creator of the show was like, how come this isn't a shirt? And I'm like, go speak to this person. I gave the name. And I got a phone call Monday about how I should not be doing it. I'm like, fuck you. It's a good shirt.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Aria says, isn't Filoni the only person bringing sequel ties like the Praetorians, etc.? I could see him introducing Snoke before Favreau ever thinks about it. Well, Aria, it's the same people. Like it's Favreau who put in the Praetorians, not Filoni. But they're working together. So it's they see, you have to look at it, I think, from the perspective of how Dave Filoni's career starts. Dave Filoni's career doesn't start with, I think your hat's really cool. Come and hang out with us with that hat. Gendy doesn't have the hat. We're just not going to tell him he's fired. Fuck him. You got that cool hat. No, it didn't go that way. It went with, okay, I'm George Lucas. I made the movies my way. I did what I wanted to do for the most part. Most of it was what I wanted to do. And there's a little price to be paid for that. You know, I didn't pander too much. Could have pandered a lot more, but my audience is large. And so how do I do what I want to do? I pander in a way that I don't think I'm selling out. And Filoni's the one who comes in. He's all, well, here's, you got to make Anakin a little bit more like Luke. You got to show us more times of Obi-Wan and Anakin having adventures together and being friends. He goes through and he really kind of like represented, I think, a demographic of fans, and talked about maybe some of the more structural issues with relationships. And then they had a little project. They did the Clone Wars, and as they were doing it, that's what he did. So it didn't have to. Now Filoni did like the prequels, apparently.
No, Jason, you're forgetting. Originally, the first series of Clone Wars shows would have been on a planet called Pandora.
Oh,
where we're just pandering. Yeah, all the cool stuff.
Pandora. Okay.
Yeah, Pandora. Yeah.
Pender.
Yeah.
Pender. Pretty good,
Yeah.
George. Pretty good. You still
Yeah.
got it, bud. You still got it.
I
Still
got
got
it.
it.
I still got it. All right.
Still got it.
I gotta go watch the shit show that's CNN. Bye.
So he no, but the point being is I can't speak for him, but I'm going to assume that Dave Filoni didn't love every idea, every concept, everything that went into the prequels. So what
No,
Filoni
I
did,
love the nipples, Jason.
he loves the nipples.
We was gonna put nipples on all the Jedi robes. It was the thing
Yeah.
in the '90s, and George just didn't want to do it. But I love that concept.
But what he did do was he made the things that weren't working for him work a little bit better for him.
Uh-huh.
And a portion of the audience in that thing.
Yeah,
But
he
I
did.
also don't think that they're looking at the amount of money they made off of the Star Wars sequels.
No.
And then the randos that get mad at the Star Wars sequels, and that kind of shit, like they don't care.
Pablo. Yeah, I know.
They don't care. What Pablo Hidalgo doesn't like the sequels?
He named after a horse, Jason. Know what I'm saying? I just can't understand.
No, Hidalgo's just a movie. What are you talking about? It came out after he was well born, Dave. He was way born.
I don't believe that. Fake news.
Oh, shit.
He believes what he wants to. He's a director now.
You know what?
I got 2 movies, Jason. Don't talk to. I know what I'm doing. I got 2 movies. He's got 2 movies.
Well, the first one's the Clone Wars movie, and it felt really hard, dude. But anyways, yeah, no, but anyways, where I'm going with it is that
you keep this up. I'm gonna recast. I'm gonna recast Balin with Adam Sandler. You keep it up. You keep talking, shit. Jason. Keep talking. I'll do it.
That's cool.
I can do it right now.
I think you should do it with Ogre from Revenge of the Nerds. That'd be cool.
Oh my god, I love Ogre.
Yeah,
I love Booger first, Ogre second. But
yeah, I think Booger should be a main character in Book of Boba Fett too. The Booger of Boba Fett.
I like how James Hong was an even more disgusting Yoda to that guy.
Yeah.
The sequel. The only part about Revenge.
He's not an alien. He's not an alien. And I want to actually bring him in and just be a disgusting.
Speaking
Yoda.
of George Hong, you realize the guy who wrote Buckaroo Banzai also wrote Big Trouble in Little China?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you know that?
I did.
Yeah, you knew that.
I did know that.
You could have gone with me on Schmodown 7 years ago and won that one.
Well, no, I wouldn't have done that. I got some self-worth. But other than that, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, trivia night at some random bar. All
right.
No, but anyways, point being, Filoni and anybody who takes the job that Filoni has, or the position that Favreau and Filoni both hold, has to go and has to weave the tapestry together. If there's this like portion of the giant AIDS quilt that is Star Wars, and it's over here, you gotta put the things in, you gotta put the patches in and make it all.
You just related Star Wars to an AIDS quilt.
I did. I have now done it all. Well, I'm retired, guys.
You've completed YouTube bingo.
I have. Did the AIDS quilt ever come to your school? Did you ever have it at your school?
No.
Oh,
no. We were in the boonies. We didn't get that. We did get those guys who used to blow into hot water bottles to show you how strong they were for not doing drugs, and it turns out all of them were on rights.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love it.
I just looked at it and said, you know what? If I was on drugs, I could definitely do better than what they're doing right now. So
they just run around. We didn't get it. We were sitting there and they'd walk around blowing into hot water bottles to like workout music. And I was like, what are we doing? Like, I mean, it's great we're not in class, but like, I don't know how it's supposed to stop anyone from doing drugs. Then they were all on rights.
Yeah. Yeah. But so will the Mando, to go with Megan and what Ari are talking about, I do think we will see the First Order stuff come out, but now look at what we have to get past.
Do you think Meg will have
the
Mace Windu was going to be? Hold on. Do you think Meg was going to have the Mace Windu scoop you dropped out before the end of the show?
No,
or after the show?
Definitely not.
Okay.
But no, but you. Anyways, I forgot what I was gonna say because it was.
I know I cut you off. I know I didn't care. That's why I cut you off.
The worst.
Sorry, do you make it sense?
Okay, it was about Thrawn.
Whoever takes over Filoni.
No, we have to get past what happens to Thrawn's rebellion, if you will, before we could even get to the First Order stuff. Now, We have to know how that all shakes out. Thrawn has to come back. He has to take the Imperial Remnant. He has to reunite it. Then it has to basically be shattered and destroyed. And then out of that, now is where the First Order will rise, right? It has to happen that way, in some form. So basically, yeah, seeing a Snoke clone now, who gives a shit? Doesn't mean a fucking thing if it was a Snoke clone or it wasn't now, or you know what I mean. And I'm guessing those are supposed to be Gideon clones, but they may just go, oh, that nobody cared about that plot line. Gideon's death was forgettable. It's Snoke. You know, they might do that. I could see it. You know what I mean? Arya says, well, no. I say Filoni because every big sequel tie was a Filoni written episode. Okay, yeah, that's fair, but we also can't.
What does it matter? What does it matter?
It's a partnership, though. That's the whole thing. Is those Thrawn guys are working together. So
Thrawn isn't smart enough to tell if there's a Jesus-looking dude in a stormtrooper outfit taking off in a Starcraft.
Well, I mean, like the thing is though, okay, if we went around and we talked about historical evil bastards, or we talked about Hitler or Napoleon or whatever, when we make the movie where they're the antagonist, it's the one where they make the big mistake and they fuck up.
Yeah, but Thrawn did that in the book. As well,
exactly.
So it does happen
because they're the bad guys. They must lose.
Yeah, but this is the problem with 30 years of fans going, he's the genius. Well, yeah, he is, but not infallible.
Yeah,
you know, like yeah. Look, it was just fun to say rather than make another Darth Vader or another Palpatine, they gave you a guy who was actually trying to use logic and tactics versus, you know, I kill you, I kill you, I kill you. I'm an evil wizard. The funny part is now he's teamed up with evil wizards.
Well,
that's his plan. Like,
and that's always been his plan, though. Too, like that's always what he's done. But the special thing about Thrawn, you're right, was that his superpower wasn't I'm just going to choke you out and kill you for not obeying or doing what I want. He's not just a violent like monster, a brute. He's more of a snake. And but today in 2023 going into 2024, I have other people like that in my Star Wars now. Like that has been brought to the table. I mean, looking at Andor, there's several of them. And so it's not really like that big of a deal. Now, do I think he's a good design for what, you know, is he a good idea to use as a villain in this? I think he is. I do. It's not my preference, honestly, about who would do this and how this would go, but I do think that it's valid. I think it's valid. I think it's smart to use Thrawn for this story that they're going to tell. I think it makes sense. So it's not that I disagree with it from like a financial success kind of angle, but I should say with the fans as a financial angle, I don't know if it's great or not. Because nobody knows who Thrawn is. Your parents don't know who Thrawn is.
People just watched 8 episodes of Ahsoka and they don't know who Thrawn is.
No, well, no. What happened
was honest.
No, they watched 8 episodes of Ahsoka and then they saw exactly what Thrawn is. And that's just what he is. He's just an Imperial guy and he's blue. And he's not stupid. He's a little pompous, but he's not like arrogant, so arrogant he's stupid. That's it.
Yeah, but this is an opportunity to exceed expectations, and they didn't do that. So
no, but you're also fucking stupid. I don't mean you, Rob, but I mean like we're fucking stupid if we think Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are going to go out and write this complex thing that's going to inspire 15 think pieces on his motivations. Right. It's just they're never going to be. Like I said, I don't know if you were kind of having technical difficulties, but I'm like, they're more of the Beastmaster Highlander side of Star Wars, and that's fucking cool. But I also don't think that they were the right people to do Thrawn. You know what I mean? Like that
they weren't even the right. Like I was thinking about that whole sequence, right? Like here's a great missed opportunity in the last episode, right? Specifically the last episode when all those stormtroopers are dead. And what's her face, Elsbeth lets the two idiots go, I guess, right? Like, I think the thing to do is to do a fight there.
Wait, two idiots. Which two idiots are we talking? Ezra and Sabine
and Jesus, right?
Okay.
So she's her job was to kill them all. She just lets them go. Like, I think the thing there is, they raise those fucking stormtroopers up, and Jason, everyone thinks they can control zombies. Once zombies get unleashed, they start attacking Elsbeth. Then they got to team up. Like, there could have been a way during the fight where they're fighting, but also teaming up in this similar manner that you didn't really know if Rey was teamed up with Kylo in that Last Jedi fight.
You wanted the monster to bite like Elsbeth's face off and go, oh shit, that was kind of.
Yeah, well, like that, the unintended consequences, right? Yeah. Like you got to fight. You're fighting. We're not friends. We're not enemies. We're still fighting, but we're also this other thing. Like that's if you're going to do zombies, you have to do that. Otherwise, what's the point? Like, there's just no point to it. You just send in more stormtroopers. Like, that's and it's just like that's missing there for another, like, we've already seen 15 lightsaber battles. We know how you guys can do them. Like,
here's why I think that it went that way, though. I think they're going to go back to Dathomir, like I was saying, and I think when they put all of the bodies into the ground in Dathomir or in the pods, and then they go and they do the resurrection, that's when I think they resurrect like Ventress. And what I think is going to where I would take this and where I think they would take this is that they resurrect everything on that planet. Ventress comes back, and then that's when Ventress is really able to probably do what she was always supposed to do, and that's become the leader of the Night Sisters and take it away from them, because the Night Sisters they should always be about their own thing, their own self-interest, I think, but also Ventress's like arc was kind of moving in that direction, and then it gets sidelined because they have to wipe them all out. The Clone Wars wipes them. General Grievous and Dooku wipe them all out. And so that allows them to sort of like come back into the fold, and then that thing can exist. That character can come back, and I think that that will be the unintended thing, is that in resurrecting everything on that planet, they bring back who should really be running the show, who should be, you know what I mean? I think that's what is probably going to happen, and then it will allow Ahsoka to have conflict with Ventress as she's siding with the witches. It will allow Shin to be like, oh, I'm just like her, but then also, which one am I going to be? Am I going to be like her or like her? Like what's my path? So it opens up a lot, you know what I mean? And
then they won't talk about it for 6 episodes, and then it'll kind of happen, and then not really happen, and then she'll get superpowers, and then then the Force music plays, and we all shed a tear. Next series.
If Filoni goes that way, it'll be a big deal too. He won't. He likes the character quite a bit. It'll be a big deal. It won't be. It'll be.
You say so.
No, it will be. It will be. I would if you were to ask my opinion in the chat of does Filoni care more about Thrawn or Ventress, I would hands down say Ventress. Ventress is a character that he developed second to Ahsoka in terms of like what she actually did and became, and that storylines and stuff like that. And she was sort of developed to be the foil to Ahsoka. And we could argue if it really happened in the actuality of the show to some extent. It did, though. But there's that moment where she calls her the Bog Witch and all that shit. But I think that's where this is likely to go. It would please fans. It would be easy. It makes sense. It's fun. They already brought back Darth Maul and Savage in basically the same, or Darth Maul, and then they did the Savage thing. So would they do it? Yeah, they've already done it in a more egregious fashion before. So I do think it'll happen, and it could be a big deal. Will it happen in the season 2 of Ahsoka? That would be like the big question. I would think so. I would have to imagine that season 2 of Ahsoka would begin with what happens when they get down on Dathomir, and I do think that there will be unintended circumstances. I mean, like, and consequences. And if you end up with Ventress coming back into the show, back to life, back to reality. Does the character just immediately go, I'm back, here's my plan, I'm doing my stuff? Like, I don't think so. I think that the character is going to be like, what the fuck is going on, and probably just be like, fall in line. She's been dead for years and is like coming back to life. And it would be like, there would be a little bit of a catch up and then a turn. Most likely that's what would happen. And
Anakin left her a video too.
Well, like Ventress, I believe, I would need to look into this. So don't, if the chat knows, let me know. But I think Ventress sort of starts to figure out what's going on, and then she dies. So when Ventress comes back, she's going to know the Imperials and the Republic, the Clone Wars, orchestrated by the same evil being that these people are in league with. And she would have personal reasons to hate them, to never fall in line. But you have those witches that might just be power hungry. They've been out there pointless in Peridia for who knows how long. And they're ready to really get what's theirs. They'll throw in with Thrawn. They'll sell out. I don't think she will. And so I think there's a big opportunity there, and to make this like Ahsoka screen saga thing like a bigger deal. And we could see Luke Skywalker fighting Ventress and shit like that, just wild stuff that we never thought, and Ventress is the one that gave Anakin the fucking scar. Remember that shit? I think that's kind of cool. But anyways, that's all obviously speculation. It's not really built on anything other than like, oh, that seems like what they're working towards, and I bet you they are. I'm assuming that's the case. I assume that Dave Filoni knows what, when you take them back to Dathomir and you resurrect the planet where they buried us, Ventress, is his idea to do that. And I think that's why he did it. So there's potential. And that's the kind of stuff that you do in a Disney Plus series that builds like intrigue and stuff. Not at Rob's pace, too slow for Rob, but still, it's what you do.
I didn't have a problem with the pacing. I had a problem with characters not actually talking about shit that mattered.
Oh no! I'm talking about the fact that they're only going to give you 8 episodes, and it's going to take like 2 years for it to happen. And then
this actually leads into a side. I'm glad you went there with this episode length thing. So Kelly Dixon, editor on Kenobi, was on the Team Deacons podcast last week, right?
That's a John Deacon podcast about Queen, bass player from Queen.
Yeah, he just wears frozen short bike shorts, like
little shorts. And he's like, listen, Freddie Mercury's gay. I'm not. Stop asking me if I'm gay because of my shorts in the 80s.
Yeah. His shorts say no synthesizers. Like
hey man, Brian May did a lot of overdubs on those guitars, and to say it was a synth is pretty insulting.
Yeah. So Kelly Dixon was on there, and so she was also editor on Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but before that, and Wakanda Forever. But before all those three, she was one of 2 editors on Breaking Bad, and then one of 3 or 4 on I'm making that number up because of my knowledge of it, of Better Call Saul.
Okay.
First season. And then she went off.
Can we open up a Mexican restaurant called Better Call Salsa?
I'm sure someone already has done that.
Well, that's my idea.
Little nuggets of here. So there's things that she said directly about Star Wars. She doesn't say Kenobi, she says Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
And then there's things she
edited
says
Star Wars, so it's safe to assume.
And so then there's things she says that are indirect, but I think are pertainable. So some of the direct things about that was that she says she's been on shows that were producer driven or showrunner driven or producer driven, where a producer puts things together and has a certain way they want to see things. And she says, but on the Star Wars and Marvel stuff, that it was a director driven, which kind of flies, especially on the Marvel one, flies right in the face of even that book, right? Right, that came out, like, or even the Hollywood Reporter piece that came out. Kit, what's his name? Whatever that guy did last week. Boris Kit, yeah. Where he was like, oh, the producers were in charge. And I'm like, it doesn't seem to be that way according to Kelly Dixon. So she said that Kenobi was 100% director driven. Deborah Chow, right? Basically, she didn't say the name, but that's what she was saying. And then an indirect thing she said later on the podcast that ties into that, I think, was she's like, you meet these directors who get really excited about the prospect of, instead of doing a 2-hour film, they get to do like an 8-hour film, as a series. And she goes, and there's a lot of like problems with that. Like there's a lot of, what's the word? I'm paraphrasing, but it doesn't work, there's complications, or there's, she's way more political than I am. I just throw everyone under the bus, but that
Yeah.
basically, yeah, that doesn't quite work that way, and I feel like these things are tied together, even on the Marvel side as well. Like I feel like we've all felt that a lot of the Star Wars and the Marvel stuff feels like elongated films,
Mm-hmm.
like they're not doing what TV shows would do with characters in a way that we've gotten very accustomed to since at least the days of Sopranos, right? On
Mm-hmm.
forward, I could say. And instead, it feels like you're getting the shallowness of a Marvel film, but you're stuck watching it for 8 weeks, like as opposed
Yeah.
to a 90-minute to 2-hour experience in a movie theater where you can, they
Yeah.
don't hang out.
Well, I mean, like a television series format with Star Wars is a good opportunity for melodrama.
Correct.
And
Pathos.
that's where, and
that was the
I
missed opportunity for, like, you have it with
mm-hmm.
the Anakin scene, the Anakin episode. There's melodrama because of the past.
Yeah.
Star Wars movies, things that aren't going on in that series, things that happen in other movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking at it, but then in the context of that series, it's not actually going anywhere.
Right.
You don't know what she walks away. She doesn't walk away with anything new other than she's got a new clothes. And I guess you could sit there and tired of hearing about Filoni and the Lord of the Rings. I did this the thing for Quentin. I sort of had to deal with Plo Koon, and so I decided to read like this some Rancor. I thought it was funny. Rancor
Yeah.
did like a 13 things about Plo Koon you didn't know. So I had Filoni go over it. And there's shit there. I just like, get the fuck out of here. He goes, yeah, Plo Koon. Filoni thought Plo Koon was more like Gandalf. I'm like, does he think everything's like fucking Gandalf? like, is that Filoni's answer for? Is he just fucking with people? Like, has to be. You can't be like, oh, this is like Gandalf, and oh my god, that's like Gandalf. Like it's almost a
like
Richard Christie moment.
Yeah,
that's my favorite. Oh, that's my friend. Yeah, that's my friend. That's my favorite. Like,
yeah.
So those are some interesting bits, and I think she said too that on Kenobi specifically, she stuck to the script, but the last fight between Anakin and Kenobi, she was like, yeah, I think we're missing things emotionally here, and she edited to the emotion versus the script.
Mm-hmm.
And even I thought the ending fight was pretty good, and I thought it was the better. And so then I'm like, all right, emotions just wasn't the focus of people's like interest on making these Star Wars things. I just don't feel a lot of them are. I think it's like making a Star Wars thing, moving the action figures around and checking off your lore boxes and your timelines. But I just feel like that's the deadness. We're all expecting more now.
Well,
and,
there's like two ways of doing it, and like the Filoni fan, the Filoni method is, and therefore that's why is what the culmination of his stuff always is. And it's like that's fine for like what he does, but when you get to like, I wouldn't want the Filoni thing doing Kenobi and Darth Vader beating up, and like there were methodological errors in Kenobi though, I think from the very start, in the sense that like it's Kennedy just probably off the cuff was like rematch of the century, just doing that kind of thing. But then the reality of the situation was the fans built up rematch of the century because of her word. It's not, I don't think she did anything wrong in saying that. But the first time we do get the rematch, and it's not great because it was more than one fight. And so,
and visually it's laughable.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, I stand by it. Like
no, it's flat. No, you're right.
Yeah.
It's definitely flat. There's just no two ways around it. And it's like, And it's amazing because like when you look at what we talked about before, look at Deborah Chow's other work, and you're like, oh, she's the person to do this drama. But in reality, it didn't come out that way. It just didn't land that way.
Yeah.
You know, has she done any Star Wars since Kenobi? I don't
No.
think so. Yeah.
No, she hasn't even done interviews. I keep abreast of this, no pun intended, of the situation.
Yeah.
God damn it, Rob.
Wait, so that because she's a woman? Is that why you said that?
Yes.
What the fuck?
So,
Dude? No.
and because I'm an idiot, but
yeah.
no, I keep a lookout. Nothing.
Yeah.
So, and look, I'm not here. I look, as much as I dislike a grip of Star Wars, especially in a good 15-year period, I'm always fascinated by how something I didn't like got made.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to sit through Ghostbusters 2 ever again. I would sit through an 8-hour documentary on how that shit got made now.
the Scoleri brothers, man. Come on.
Good puppets, just a dumb fucking scene.
No, it's great.
No, stupid, angry slime. It's dumb.
Lewis is a lawyer now.
She was hot. I know you got to think for the glasses.
Janine. No, Janine was hot.
No, the lawyer. Yeah. Well, she had the bangs.
Yeah, I know. And two, Janine became like.
There's no way Janine's
art. I don't know.
Louis Tully. Like, it's just, come on. Let's just not do this.
It was unexpected.
No, it's stupid.
It's called stupid. It's called a twist.
Yeah, it's twisting my dick around because it's fucking dumb.
Yes,
stupid
Vigo the Carpathian.
And I'm beginning to think too, with the way, not the first film, but the way Harold Ramis played Egon in the second movie, where he's smiling. Egon should never smile, Yeah. So it's like, I figure if that's the way you were going to go, they were better off going with Jeff Goldblum in the first film, because Jeff Goldblum wouldn't have changed the performance of Egon across two films. Whatever he did in the first one, Goldblum would have done in the second one.
When I saw Ghostbusters Afterlife in the theater, I was like fucking eye rolling when Harold Ramis' CGI Harold Ramis shows up, And I'm just like, oh my fucking God, are you fucking serious right now? Like how corny it was at the end. I look over at my 7-year-old daughter and she's like in tears, just like completely engrossed in it. And I'm like, all right, okay.
Well, she's not 40 years old, your daughter. No, so she hasn't. We've been manipulated before.
She's just seeing the grandpa, the little girl's grandpa.
Oh, the grandpa.
Who's also a Ghostbuster and badass like her. Right. It's completely a different experience. You know what I mean? And it's, yeah. So sometimes though, cynicism and experience blind you to I do, something does actually
cynicism's
work.
An issue. And I do give films and TV and everything else a break for dramatic conceit.
Yeah.
You have
to.
The problem isn't dramatic conceit, like when something happens because it needs to be dramatic or it's just better for a scene regardless of logic. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
The problem is when everything else is fucked up and you're doing that too. And then you're like, you gotta, again, some of it's whole, right? You gotta look at the whole thing. Hey, we're this is may have gone too far in some spots.
I love music, and I'll see some some band in their in their very early 20s, and they're ripping off the Talking Heads, and then all the other 19-year-olds that are watching them think that they're amazing, and I'm like, they're not amazing. I've already seen this before. But then I'm like, no, you know what? The music is actually good. This is their first introduction to that idea, and then so you have to look at it the way that this idea is being presented. Is it good? Yeah, I've seen it before. I've even seen it better sometimes. But did they present it well here? If it was your first time, was it, and then it's okay, yeah, or no, it wasn't good, and that's the truth is, I think on Kenobi itself, my true 100% opinion is, I think in the context of in which it was made, it's a good job. They did well for what they could have done considering the context. At the same time, if they wanted to do it right, Kenobi's probably a 24 episode show.
Yeah.
And it goes
a real show.
And it reiterates things we already know.
Correct.
But from Kenobi's perspective and from a different light. And then builds into it and would have introduced characters that we never even knew. Like we never knew Ahsoka existed, but there's other characters who could have been there the whole time that we just never saw. The stuff like that could have like tightened it up and made, you know, that person's death mean something to Kenobi and stuff like that. There were characters on the table like Satine, which is like Obi-Wan's Padme, and Obi-Wan does the right thing. Like, think about that. You have Obi-Wan Kenobi who, like, 25-year-old Cate Blanchett wants to bang him. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to hang out with Liam Neeson and be a Jedi because we have responsibilities. It's the right thing to do. And he does that. Then this little motherfucker shows up and fucking does it underneath him and kills everybody. Like there's something to be said.
Because it's a stupid idea that Jedi can't have family. It's a bad idea. Added to the prequels. Added nothing. It's not in the original. Didn't need to be. It's dumb. Samurai had wives. Stupid. Soldiers. That's like saying a soldier in the military can't have a wife because
Rob.
You know, I mean, it'll fuck up their pay for certain.
No, it's not, Rob. You know, like, it's saying if you want to be Spider-Man, you can't be Spider-Man and have Mary Jane without compromising their safety and yours and everything like that. If you have godlike power, you cannot have those kinds.
Well, you shouldn't give the Jedi godlike power. So,
well,
again, the prequels did a lot of things that
superheroes.
Jim Bill flash run and shit like that.
The Jedi don't do anything that any fucking lame ass superhero doesn't do. It's all the same thing on that front. I mean, but that's the point though, is that you must have, if you're going to have that kind of power, then you must have complete emotional stability, and you can't have emotional stability if you have those attachments. Now, what I will see your point is, did George Lucas fully explore that idea and really make it front and center? No, he took the idea and then put it as well, here's why this can't happen and why it's complication. But did he earn it?
I'll never forget the line.
No.
I guess that makes us brothers. And I was like, I fucking hate this movie.
Yeah.
Like, I actually bought one of those movie theater ices, which are way overpriced. You know, they're 99 cents down the street, but $6.99 at the movie theater. I was like, you know what? I need a fucking slushy. You know, this fucking movie.
Yeah.
Guess we're brothers. This stupid fucking come back and hey, I slaughtered all of them. I slaughtered them, even the children. And then she's like, Annie, I love you. It's like, you fucking...
But I mean, but you can see the idea through you can see the idea through 2 cents. Do they? I would if you argued no, then I would be like,
I can see the idea through 2 cents in the way that Vulcans can portray having logic, even though there's nothing special Spock's doing in Star Trek 6. Like, yeah, obviously anyone could have figured out this fucking mystery. You know what I mean? But the audience is figuring out the mystery, and he's the voice. So this is a movie. It's not fucking the real world. And so he's portraying logical choices. But in all honesty, this is a ship with millions of fucking cameras and tracking shit. And, you know, and the reality of the situation, I get all that. But you got to go along with the story.
Yeah.
You know, you got to go along with the journey. And if the actor isn't portraying the thing, it all falls apart. And that's a central conceit with a lot of Star Wars, not just the prequels. The actors don't carry the weight of what the character's supposed to emotionally be doing.
Yeah.
You know, and when that doesn't happen, look, Balin is exceeding expectations emotionally, which is why we like that dude, right? We're like, this fucking actor's bringing shit to the table. And shit, I'm like, this whole thing's working.
You know what I think he does that a lot of actors don't do is he comes in and pretends like he's supposed to be there. And some people, you just get the sense that they feel like, what am I doing here? I'm not supposed to be here. The performance of Balin is
really good observation.
He's like, I got shit to do. I don't even know what it is, but I believe it. You know what I mean? It's ambiguity that usually pisses me off. But in this instance, it's fine.
It's my problem with listening to most actors talk about anything, especially Star Wars, when they go, we were on set and we messed things up because we were making the pew pew noises, and like, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like you got a million things to do, you know, and there was just an all of all the stuff. And you're like, and I go, okay, how much of that is bullshit But how much of that is it? Probably for a lot of them, that is true. You know, and I go, maybe you should have spent 6 months at Disneyland working at Galaxy's Edge for like 6, so you can get like seriously run the actors through these fucking like guys who have to pretend to. If you go work Galactic Starship for 6 months, you're gonna get on a Star Wars set and be like, all right, let me get my character because you're not gonna be blown away by it. You're not gonna be. Oh, you just look because they're on those sets.
I'm just imagining like Carson Teva handing me some macaroni and cheese.
Yeah,
I'm like, thanks. He's like,
not only can I imagine it, like, I think you should do Disneyland community service. All the Star Wars actors, you know, like, you know, you want to be method, you got to go work at Galaxy's Edge. You know, 3 months.
Yeah, me and Bespin, we can't do a show anymore for the next couple of weeks. We got Star Wars community service to do.
Yeah, yeah.
they didn't like what we did, and but
he's fucking up, picking up the trash, and some guy goes, "You're not built for this," you know, and you're like, "You fucking asshole."
Junior Jingle says, "I took Jeff Goldblum's acting class at Playhouse West years ago. He's an arrogant douche. He just pranced around and flirted with the chicks the whole time. Didn't learn anything, and I like him more." That's what I expect. Yeah,
Junior Jingles, you're just proving why directors are important to run a set. All right. Yeah. Because you wouldn't fucking direct, you know, Ivan Reitman, James Cameron, they ain't put up fucking what's his face directed The Fly. Cronenberg ain't put up with that shit.
Yeah.
But you leave an actor in charge, you know, you end up with James Franco getting himself into lawsuits, you know.
Well, I know when we're students and we get mad at our instructors or teachers and stuff like that, it's easy to go like, if he's so good, why isn't he doing it? Well, the truth is that's because somebody's talented and good at something doesn't make them a good teacher either. It goes like both ways. Like I've known people that are very, very talented, like I would say almost genius level at what they do. And when they try to teach it, it's worthless. And yeah, but I could see Junior Jingles just being in Goldblum's class, and Goldblum's like, what are you doing here? You know what I mean? Doing that whole thing.
Does he show up in the cowboy habit from Buckaroo? I'm on a Buckaroo trip today. Dude, I don't know why.
Like a few years ago when I became single, I was like, all right, time to get back out there. Time to start shaking some booty, making sweet love all through the night again. And I'm on like dating apps, and every single time, like I found like my kind of woman. Fucking Jeff Goldblum was in the picture. I'm not even kidding. I went out with like 4 or 5 girls over the last couple of years, and they all have pictures with Jeff Goldblum. I mean, if Jeff Goldblum
Jurassic Park changed a lot of women's lives, Jason. I'll never forget when we went to go see Jurassic Park 3D, right? I didn't even remember that scene, by the way. Like when I think of Jurassic Park, I'm not thinking of Jeff Goldblum's chest. I didn't even stick in my head. Didn't even stick in my head. So we're at Jurassic Park 3D, brought the wife. Theater's packed, right? It's a packed screen. And that chest comes out in 4K 3D. The whole theater was like, ooh. And I was like, what is this shit? Yeah.
Well, no, but that's the whole thing is like when we were kids and we saw Jeff Goldblum, we just saw like a weird guy who was kind of like quirky and funny and fast. But when you look at like Transylvania 65000 and shit like that, like he was supposed to be hot. Yeah. He's the one he's the alien that the girls want to like. We just didn't see what women were seeing. Yeah.
I would watch The Fly with my babysitter. And I thought we were watching The Fly because he turns into a fly. Look how disgusting this is. Oh, this is great. But she's watching The Fly because Jeff Goldblum's hot. Like was lost on me, you know?
So big Making Star Wars update. Tom has sent me the picture of the computer with the UPS ground, all the stuff ready to go. It's coming. It's coming. We're gonna be back. We're gonna have regular shows again. Thank you, Tom. Tom is the best. But anyways,
what's his agenda? That's what I want to know. What's in it for Tom?
Yeah. So Tom, big Highlander guy, wants more Highlander references on the show. So that's why I'm dropping them left and right today. I think I mentioned Highlander like 4 times today. I don't know why. Even
we're all gonna watch wrestling. Remember that whole movie starts off with wrestling. Like,
It
just
does.
remember.
Yeah, I like that he's a Highlander and he's just like, I'm just gonna go see. It wasn't like Ready Piper. It was like
No, it's NWA stuff, dude.
it was. Yeah,
that's territory wrestling. That's Crockett stuff, man. Like,
yeah. But then he's like, somewhere in this wrestling audience is a Highlander. There could be only one. I'm gonna fight him. But I still think I'm still on board with them just letting Clancy Brown take over as Balin.
I don't think anyone would think otherwise. Like, some people would go, "Is that the same?" And then they'd just forget.
Yeah, I mean, if Clancy Brown can grow that majestic of a beard, which I believe he can, I think they would be wise.
They just get Matt Perry and say, "Fuck it." Balin put on some pounds. He's out there. He was eating rock lobster.
His name is Waylon. He's gained some weight.
Why you gotta do that?
You're the one who brought it up.
Why you gotta
he caught my Good Life reference. There you go. The Good Weezer. The Good Weezer. There's two Weezers. There's the Good Weezer and the Not Good Weezer. But anyways, yeah, I think we did it, Rob. I think we did it. I'm excited to try the computer when it comes. I think I'll be able to like play videos on it and stuff. Like the show's gonna be different. It's gonna be crazy. It's coming into the future thanks to Tom. So thanks again to Tom.
Show's gonna be very different. Very, very different.
Totally
a whole new show.
Totally fucking different, dude. Like you'd have no idea. Like this show right now, this is before Avatar. When the computer comes, we're talking after Avatar.
I like how Junior Jangles took a Jeff Goldblum acting class. And
I know.
And he got ripped off. Like, like that's, to me, that's like 3 episodes of Curb if you do it right,
Yeah.
It could be a kind of like the restaurant from season 2. That could be running in the background the whole season,
Yeah. Well, we'll
like Larry David's acting class. Like, hey, wouldn't it be great? Like if he was like, I could teach that. I'm an actor. You're like,
just don't buy his NFTs. You're good. Now, Junior Jangles, if you bought NFTs from Jeff Goldblum, by the way, that's on you now. That's on you. Oh, wait. He did try to kick me out for impersonating him during a repetition exercise. Oh man. Anyways, all right, everybody. Well, Rob, you got anything to throw out there before we go?
Do I have anything to throw out?
Anything to say?
I got a comic book coming out next year. I don't know when, but it's coming out. Spawn kills every spawn. So
Spawn kills every spawn.
Yeah. Wonder what that's about.
I've never seen anything from it, so I have no idea what it even looks like.
Okay. I know.
It looks great. No, it really does. It looks great. I mean, have they shown anything from it yet? Anywhere?
They did a thing at New York Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Last week.
I remember that.
Where they had a panel.
Yeah.
They showed off stuff there, and then they put in a few extra pages in a preview book. But because Todd signed the preview books, and there's only 250 of them, they're all going for $600 on eBay, so no one's opening them. I was like, that's I was like, well, what do I care? But it's like, all right, it was 250 people. It's not going to change numbers, But you're like, the bigger thing for me was once people start showing off the pages, then I can show some of the page, but I can't show the pages. But since no one showed pages, one guy on Bleeding Cool opened one up, so I was able to kind of repost that photo. But then he spelt my name wrong, which is why I keep telling them to keep just post me a Sketchcraft because people can't spell my last name. Like they can't say it, you can't spell it. Like it's not even my last. I'm adopted, so it's like I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
But the book's coming out next year, and that'll be my turn in the barrel when people are like your art sucks. You. I can't wait. That's all I look forward to.
As somebody who doesn't know shit about anything, I would say that like it's like if you took Spawn as a comic and then mashed it up with like Where's Waldo at times, and it's just like wow, there's a lot to look at. But I like it. I like that you're able to like look at a picture and you're like, holy shit, there's a lot of stuff in here. This guy needs to calm down. He has so many ideas. What's his fucking problem? What's going on in his brain? He's a madman. And then that's when I knew who you were. And that's when I realized that you were actually crazy. But it's great. The work is great. It looks good.
Weirdly, there's Indiana Jones Easter eggs.
There is. There is. Yeah.
I can say that without getting in trouble. Who cares?
Yeah.
So whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's coming out next year. And then as always, if you want to support me and anything I do, hand Rob some bucks because I don't make any money on the show. You can go to shopsketchcraft.com. Buy a print.
I'm giving you shit. You're fucking
shopsketchcraft.com. Buy a print. Shopsketchcraft.com. Buy a print.
That was .com.
I tried, and my wife said, "No, we're not putting that on our taxes." Like, I gotta explain that one to the IRS. I swear it's for business.
They want to audit you. They're like, this guy's hot. Like,
this
guy's going on. Let's audit him.
Yeah. Well, then they see me and
like, oh, he's the Spawn guy. Yeah, that's cool. No, I'm kidding. But all right, well, yeah. When the I want to do if any big news happens, we'll definitely be back on doing a show. I'll just do it on the phone. Well, see, I could do it on the phone.
Not coming back for this.
we need a little graphic that says brought to you by Tom's laptop. we need that in the corner.
Remember, it breaks my heart to hear the shit that Jeff Snyder had with his above the line, or what. There's a whole problem with that. He brought it on the show. It's not me. Dude didn't pay. He didn't pay, and Snyder was paying his people out of his pocket to cover the diff. So he did a whole show on it on the hot mic.
Okay.
But it'll be like for the first year of that show, they were like brought to you by Above the Line, and then a year later, going to court. Yeah. So brought to you by Tom's laptop. But who knows when we will or Tom will turn on us? Who will betray who first? Because it's Star Wars. There's always a betrayal, Jason.
No,
always a betrayal. Remember when Santa betrayed us?
Not Tom.
Remember when Santa betrayed us?
Not Santa. Not Tom. Not Santa.
You didn't see the you didn't see the Arlenauts Christmas parade?
Nuh-uh.
No. Jason, Santa will betray us all.
Oh no.
Go watch Arlenauts' Christmas parade, Star Wars Christmas parade. It's so great.
Yeah.
Watch the dangers of Santa crossed over with Star Wars. Horrible.
So yeah, we're gonna get you, Tom. We're gonna get you. But oh yeah, and do what Santa says. If you're here and you haven't liked the show yet, please leave a like before you go. Yeah, like the videos and share the shows, repost the shows and all that jazz and everything like that. Tom says he'll never betray the show or Santa. Jason will betray me first, no doubt. Not gonna happen. I mean,
it's the war on Christmas, Jason.
Unless he wants the computer back. If he wants a computer back, I probably will be like, oh yeah, sure.
It was 3 weeks ago. Someone said, "Hey everyone, it's Christmas is around the corner. Prepare for the Republicans of war on Christmas to start it." And you not, a day later, like they started it again. Remember when we couldn't say Christmas? You can't say crap. I'm like, this fucking country.
Yeah.
It's a broken record.
That's why I call it Xmas. Oh, wait.
Well, Elon made X uncool. So.
Oh, I never thought about that. He probably likes Xmas a lot.
Yeah.
He should make the 25th a holiday on Twitter called Xmas. And then it will start all of the conspiracy guys going crazy. Oh, Santa put the Christ back in Christmas. 61 days until Christmas.
I shoved his rotten corpse down a stocking, Jason.
That's fair.
Like Santa just picked up that body off. You know why Jesus disappeared? Santa stole his corpse. And like, he's
that got dark.
Every time you've gotten coal, it's actually been little bits of
you're
Jesus.
You're talking about Ezra though, right? You're talking about Ezra Bridger, right?
Hey, why not?
Okay. Sure.
Ezra Bridger / Spreezy.
/ Chris Brizzy, that's fair. All right, and and fuck Bespin Bulletin. Fuck him. I'm gonna betray him at the end of the show right now. Betray. We'll see everybody maybe tomorrow if there's any news. Otherwise, when the computer comes, we'll definitely we'll get regular.
It might be a couple more weeks, folks.
I don't know. Well, it depends. Tom might have sent it like on like a like an airplane with like chickens on it and stuff, you know, and short rounds in the back with Indiana Jones, and they're gonna have to like fall out of a raft, and then it's gonna come down, and then the computer shows up. So it'll take a long time. Point is, it could take a long time. We don't know, but as soon as the computer's here, we'll get regular again. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thank you, Tom. This episode was not brought to you by Tom. That is stolen valor by Tom. But probably the next episode will be brought to you by Tom. Tom's laptop. All right, everybody. Bye, Rob. Say bye, Rob.
Bye, Rob.
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey! It's the end of the show. Come on, let's go. Hey! It's the end of the show. Come on, let's go. Hey! You know you should go. Come on, let's go. It's not about spaceships.